Hi guys. Hello.
Hi, Kifo.
Hi, sorry for being late. Today I think Jamwon may make the stand up as he's on vacation. Um, in last week I was working on aside from the Simultex refactory. I was working on the porting RocksDB to SeaStor, but the first test case still fails. But I think I'm making progress. And I want also to ask for the opinion from the upstream. So I'm but I need to post a message on the Facebook discussion group. But I need to get approved from the moderator. Um, Aside from it, I was also trying to wrap up the replica write. Yeah, based on Yinxin's change to implement the Lucy connection. And I think the PR is ready for review. I think the next step of that PR is to add the pipeline support to note down the pending peers. And that's me. Peme.
Yeah, I'm implemented the SeaStor API, and I have finished the API defined in the futurized store. But it influences some SeaStor because I have to return the SeaStar future for all the APIs, and so I will modify the SeaStor and change its API. Because some API in the SeaStor not return SeaStar future. It just return immediately. I have to modify the interface because any star always return SeaStar future. It is talk to the POSIX thread.
Have you got a chance to read the message sent to the Civic mailing list regarding to the discussion to analyze the future store?
I
Analyze the food store.
already Yo and Samuel's email, but I think there is no how to say it, no conclusion, just discussion. So I just follow
Yes.
my way to do it.
Yeah, I think I was still actually I'm still struggling regarding to those approaches. Both approaches are very appealing. Actually, three of them. The third one is to put the ListStore in its own library, but I didn't invest any resource into it or any time into it. Probably you
But
can.
currently, we can use
Yeah.
the namespace and macro definition
Yeah.
to build it. So we can just put it as it now. And
Yes.
I used the thread pool, SafeOS thread pool to use the TP summit to talk with the POSIX thread. And let's try this way first. And
Sure.
I have put my code, finished code, to the tree.
Have you considered using the inline namespace? I think it could be a nice trick to hide the difference to define
inline
macro.
namespace. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It could
So
be
that's
simpler than adding to guarding every place with if defining or else and instead put the macro to define the inline namespace. That
okay.
could be
So
simpler,
define replace the if define use the inline
yes.
namespace.
If
Okay.
if for example if we have alien blue store defined, we could define the inline namespace. Otherwise, we just put the name of the namespace out there. So that's I could Yeah.
Can you give me an example? I can't very understand
Yes,
you.
I will. I will do. I send you a very example to demonstrate
Yeah.
the trick.
Okay, so I have updated the code to the source tree, so you can take a look. But
Sure.
I didn't modify all the C and star interface. I have to do it first. And,
Do you think it's in future we need to, even if we don't go this way, we need to visualize all the interface of SeaStor?
because we defined the general interface in the futurized store.
Okay.
So
Anyway, I'll take a look at your change anyway.
yeah.
I'm just wondering if any of the interface could be written immediately if we
Because
don't go
for
this
the
way.
alien store, it need return SeaStar future because it need to
Yes.
talk with thread, a POSIX thread. So in the CN star, I have to make it return SeaStar now, something like that, to meet the future API definition. So I have to change some code in the CN star, make return SeaStar now or SeaStar make a ready future, something like that.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Redek.
Last week, I was co-working with Ronen in Poznań. But in the matter of Crimson, the biggest thing is the CEF class support. I've sent PR with a cleanup for master. By the way, I fixed it now. Now classical OSD loads the classes properly. I decided to dissect the object class implementation from libosd.a, which had which was contrary to the R dynamic option we are passing to everything. And now it's fine. However, it's only a subset of the patches. Yesterday, Crimson has loaded all necessary CEF classes, and I was able to execute the stay hello example from CLS_hello.
Awesome.
Right now, I'm implementing the object class API. For Crimson, at the moment, it's entirely stopped. However, it was enough to run the hello world.
So next step is to implement the lock APIs, right? I think it's necessary for supporting RBD.
Not at all. The plan is to reuse everything.
I'm wondering if there any underlying operation we still missing for supporting these class operations.
Well, the thing at the moment we are missing things like CLS and CLS CXX. Those functions named that way are part of our object class API. The API that is implemented by OSD and exposed to plugins. This API is blocking. It's about blocking. It can block. However, I hope it will be fine because we are executing all plugin code inside SeaStar thread, inside SeaStar green thread. Of course, if there is a plugin doing a crazy thing like issuing a syscall, or let's say if somebody wants to go with the CLS Lua interpreter, well, likely it will be problematic. But I still hope, I put a lot of hope that most of the plugins, especially those critical for RBD, for RGW, that all those plugins are just users of the CLS API, that they don't issue any syscalls. Basically, they don't need to. It's quite hard to imagine a reason for doing a syscall from there.
I think the classes object will be good citizens in the OSD. I think. I agree with you.
Well, we'll see. At the moment, it's just assumption. It might be that one plugin really needs to do the syscall. We'll see. It's based on a huge assumption.
Yeah, we'll see. Ronan.
Hi, do you hear me? I'm using a new.
Clear and loud.
Okay, clear enough. Okay, so like Alex said, I was sitting opposite him for a week, and it was great for me to have help in learning, understanding what's going on. So I went back to the issue that was suggested when I came on the team to do the backoff for the manager. I completed that, but when testing, we didn't find a use for it. We didn't see an instance where there is a problem of retrying connections to the manager. Now, I can get a PR, I can get it, I have it working. Radek asked me to separate the specifics of the backoff from some other things that I did regarding error handling, and I will do that, but I'm not sure there is a good reason to add this to the code. I couldn't recreate a problem. Maybe because I'm using just a simple system with one host, with one computer, doing everything with restart, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can see the scenario in which this makes sense, that there is a lot of reconnections. So tell me, should I issue the PR with this change?
I think we need that PR because it's a first thing. I agree with you. The backup machinery is I think it's a defensive coding programming to help us to avoid to connect to the a manager which is not able to accept the connection. And if we try to connect too frequently, it was worsen the symptom, right? Because
Yes.
the manager is if it is not able to accept the connection, one theory is that the manager is overburdened, so we need to back off.
Okay, the main problem is the manager being overburdened, not the OSD being.
The manager side.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I will
that's my
complete
theory.
this. Okay, so I will complete this as a separate PR and send to the team first because it's the first time I'm doing a PR on the system just for comments. Okay, and another thing I started is which seems in the first hour seems simple. First 10 minutes was to do a basic admin console interface for the OSD. The commands that arrive over the Unix domain socket. And then I remember that SeaStor does not support for now Unix domain sockets. Okay, so here I was looking for, here I need advice. I was looking for what's available, what are my options. And I've seen Yingqing doing some research on that, and I've seen, I think even Chumney did request something regarding this. But there are a few options, and basically, do we by now have a known way that works that it can run first, do we have a way to run a separate thread which is not SeaStor in the system? I understand we have from the discussion.
Alien,
yeah, but how do we usually allocate cores for that? Do we set aside a set of cores today?
We don't
okay,
have
you are
it now, I think.
that will be a problem.
And I don't remember who asked that, but one of our team asked that in the SeaStor, what is the best way to allocate to have an allocator for the thread? Should we set aside some memory?
But there, hold on. Before answering that, why do you want to have a have alien thread to supporting the admin socket.
Okay, there are a few options. This is one. This is the simplest option. Maybe the best option was to introduce a non-blocking, a future-based interface for the to add the socket, the Unix domain socket into SeaStor, which is a possible way to do. It's not just redo whatever was done for TCP domain socket, for IP domain sockets. Again, it's possible. It's a lot of details work. It's not hard technically, but it will be probably a lot of details. I can do that. Another option, which might be even more interesting, is to have, which is another question, is there a general way we are using to have SeaStor wait for one more event, to add an event to the list of things, a callback to the list of things that SeaStor reactor is waiting on? If so, I can do everything using a non-blocking IOUing directly, which is very simple to do. We have the code already. We have examples. We have all we need to do IOUing on Unix domain sockets, and then it's a non-blocking interface with a wait mechanism, a file descriptor for the wait mechanism. We can just add it to the EPOL used by SeaStor. But do we have a standard way of doing that?
I can't recall one. However, this doesn't mean it's absent. Maybe it is, but I just don't recall.
Okay. So I will look, I will invest, I had only a few hours yesterday to start working on that. I will just do some more research today and see what seems to be the best way. And I will finish and issue the PR that regarding the backoff.
Yes, probably we can continue the discussion regarding to what approach we would take to implement ASOC, because I think one way to do it is to use the green thread offered by SeaStor.
What I saw the green threads, and I'm trying to see. Green thread doesn't, if I remember correctly, it still doesn't allow me to use blocking calls. Or am I blocking system calls?
It does. If a blocking call, but before we start using an assumption to use green thread is to replace the blocking calls using their counterparts in SeaStor. So it looks like blocking call, but for example, if we are calling a blocking call in ASOC implementation or in our existing code, but if we want to port it to SeaStor and green thread, we need to replace the blocking call with their counterparts in SeaStor.
That's of course that I know. I was looking for a way to do it directly, just using, for example, do the actual, for example, the socket creation system call, which I'm not sure if it's called blocking or not. It shouldn't wait for it. It's not a log. It is even the socket creation.
Yes. I think to create a socket is a blocking call because the underlying of it it's not
sure, but you bring it once.
Thing. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't
hear. Kernel.
The creation of socket, I believe it will be extremely infrequent. It will be done once during the OSD boot up. So even if it blocks for a second, it basically means nothing, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. This is something I can do in meaning. On the other hand, I still have to enter the connect, the accept and the yeah. Okay. So I will, these are the two things that probably keep me busy for the next 2 weeks, at least.
Yingxin, how's it going?
Yeah, last week I implemented the first draft of the loose list policy for Protocol V2, and I just have some simple tests, and it seems that OSD peers can connect it to each other now, and the existing functionality are not broken. But I think it still needs a lot more tests because there are a number of different roles of messengers, different policies, and numerous failure cases. And I'm currently looking at the test messenger to see how it is emulating different failure cases, and try to write my own, because we not only need to connect to Crimson messengers, we also need to connect to async messengers. So it's a lot of combinations to test.
Yes, the test metrics will be doubled if we want to support both of them.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, I also put some comments regarding to your.
Yeah, I saw. I will address that soon. Kefu, I have a question. So regarding to your porting work of RocksDB, what's the goal? Is that related to SeaStor or SeaStor?
I think I have put the rationales of in the thread of on SeaStor, okay. but it's boiled down to couple takeaway. My port work will be it depends. If the SeaStor is able to take care of both the case, the fast NVMe case and the slow SSD and HDD, it is able to handle both of the storage backend. That will render my port intermediate solution in long term. But in mid or short term, if it turns out workable, it could be a better solution than what Trim is working on, because it could have better integration with the Crimson OSD, and probably the cooperative way it works will have better performance than currently what we have with the classic OSD. So but if SeaStor is not able to handle HDD or slow SSD, I think we will live with alienized BlueStor or the SeaStorized RocksDB in long term, because we do need to support them right. We cannot drop the support of HDD and SSD. At least I'm not that optimistic. I think that's. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
And by the way, I think I will continue working on the performance integration into Jenkins once I wrap up the replica write support and get the feedback from the RocksDB upstream. Okay, any questions?
Kefu, do we have any feedback, any response from Alfred regarding just gluing to Jenkins?
No, really. I think He can only help us with minimal guidance and minimal support on Jamie side.
I see.
So we
Okay,
decide
so
offline on IRC. So it's basically on our own, I think.
okay. So what do we really need to do? If I understood correctly, Certa 08 is already in the slave pool. CBT, I will ping Mark to integrate to merge the PRs. And
I think once we get your change into landing on CBT master, the next thing is to add a job to Jenkins to Civ build, right? To at least to calling to the to set up CBT and run the CBT test against the PR. And another important thing is to do the comparison, to vote the PR. What PR?
I see.
To define the
However,
metric, the criteria.
Sure, it's basically about data analysis. However,
yes,
it seems like another stage, another step of the work. The absolutely basic, the fundamental thing is just testing and maybe dissecting just results, some data collected by CBT and posting, let's say, as a comment to GitHub.
Yes. Probably the first thing is to visualize, or at least represent the test result to the user. Is that what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, we can work on it as the first milestone of showing our our work to using GitHub's comments. I would try
that's actually very stupid, but well,
yeah.
Building Chrome took multiple stages.
Yeah, I agree. I will try to define some working items and to discuss with you over IRC or our mailing list about it.
Worked great.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Have a good day and have a good night.
Same for you. Bye.
Next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.